And the Prophet met the servant there, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He says, "You are Abu Layla, the servant?" He goes, "Yes." He said, "You have a letter for me. You have a letter for me." And the servant is shocked. He said, "You mean that parchment that's been handed down for hundreds of years? That letter is for you?" He said, "Bring me the letter." And they brought the letter. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, he read it. And he read the letter out. And the Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, "O King, I acknowledge you. I pray for you. I remember you." And the ground he was standing on, he was walking on the graves of the forefathers of the Ansar. So when Allah Azza wa Jal chose the Ansar, He chose them many hundreds of years before. They weren't just there in Yathrib. Look how Allah looks after the Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So we have his lineage, his parents, his birth. Look how his character is. And now the people who assisted in the development of Islam, the Al-Ansar. We also have the Prophet's connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Now this connection is amazing. It's absolutely inspiring. As the Americans put it, it's awesome. They love that word. Is it being used in Trinidad yet? Everywhere I go, it's going to be used. Awesome. It is. This relationship is incredible. Because there's a verse in the Holy Quran, وَرَفَعَنَا لَكَ ذِكْرًا. You all know it. Allah has raised your remembrance. You all know the verse. And Hazrat Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he gave a tafsir of this verse. And Jibreel alayhi salam also gave a tafsir of this verse. And they said, this verse means whenever Allah's name is mentioned, the Prophet's name is mentioned sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Let's examine this. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Straight after Allah, the name Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. In the Holy Quran, أَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُوا الرَّسُولَ. Subhanallah. Obey Allah and obey the Messenger. Obey Allah and obey the Messenger. And also, there was an occasion when the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in the Battle of Badr, he picked up some stones and he threw them at the army. He threw them at the army. What does Allah say about that? وَمَا رَمَيْتَ إِذْ رَمَيْتَ وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ رَمَى. He says, when you threw the stones, you did not throw the stones. Allah threw the stones. Are we saying the Prophet is now Allah? No, we're not. This is Allah's verse. I'm translating exactly. You did not throw the stones when you threw the stones. Allah threw the stones. In other words, you were Allah's representative. And you threw the stones on behalf of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now Allah has got a hand. Do you know that? Allah has got a hand. Do you know that? I've seen one person nodding. What are we teaching the people on this island? Allah has got a hand. You must have heard of the term bay'ah. Bay'ah is allegiance. You swear allegiance to a shaykh or your political leader. Allah says in the Holy Quran, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يُبَايِعُونَكَ إِنَّمَا يُبَايِعُونَ اللَّهَ يَدُ اللَّهِ فَوْقَ أَيْدِيهِمْ صَدَقَ اللَّهُ الْعَظِيمُ. The companions did bay'ah to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. They stretched out their hands and there was an oath of allegiance made. This is not shahada, this is bay'ah, it's different. Men were there, women were there, and Allah says, when they did bay'ah to you, they did bay'ah to me. Yadullahi fawqa aydihim, Allah's hand was above their hands. So Allah's got a hand. I'm not saying it's like our hands. Our hands are weak and pathetic and useless. Yes, they are. But Allah's hand, no. Very, very different. He used the phrase hand, doesn't mean it's like ours. Of course not. It's Allah's hand. So we have now, when bay'ah is being done, Allah is saying, it's like I'm doing it. When the Prophet is throwing the stones, Allah is saying, I'm doing it. So here, whenever the Prophet's name is mentioned, Allah's name is mentioned. And Allah's name is mentioned, the Prophet's name is mentioned, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Why? وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرًا وَمَا يُطِيعُ الرَّسُولُ فَقَدْ أَطَاعَ اللَّهِ وَمَا يُطِيعُ الرَّسُولُ فَقَدْ أَطَاعَ اللَّهِ Whoever obeys the messenger obeys Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Following the Prophet is following Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And in Surah Najm, وَمَا يَنْطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ Allah. Whatever you say, it's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَا يَنْطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ Whatever you say, nothing you say it is except it's revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what's the difference between Quran and Hadith? Quran is revelation, Hadith is revelation. They're both revelation. This is why we can't criticize the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We can't say, oh, he did this mistake, he did that mistake. Why? Because Allah is saying, whatever you said, I've revealed to you. It's my words, it's my action. When you throw the stones, it's me. When you do bay'ah, it's me. When you speak, it's me. You are my representative. You have my authority to speak on my behalf, to guide on my behalf. I have given you this authority. Therefore, if we insult Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we insult Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All from Quran. I haven't mentioned a single hadith yet. I haven't got time for hadith. The Quran is enough. Whatever he says, you know, some people say, oh, yeah, he made a mistake here, he said this, it's wrong. Really? Allah says in the Quran, sorry, whatever he says from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who are you? You're judging Allah? You're judging Allah, then take your place behind him, please. Plenty of room. We want to take our place behind Rasulullah. There's plenty of room there as well. So look at the closeness between him and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرًا We have raised your remembrance. And wherever you go in the world, the one name that's being mentioned the most is the name Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. In every adhan, every iqamah, every prayer. So hang on, every prayer? Yeah, every single prayer. S.A.W. ayyuhan nabi. I was discussing with one Lebanese scholar, and he said, you're not allowed to send salam on the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I said, my dear brother, are you saying it's haram? He goes, yeah, it's haram. Are you saying it's shirk? Yeah, it's shirk. I said, my dear brother, you send salam every time you pray. He goes, no, I don't. I say, yeah, you do. And I mentioned, As-salamu alayka ayyuhan nabi. You know what he did? He changed the subject. I don't understand. What's the problem? You say every single night committing shirk and haram, and you're running away. Every single person prays like this. As-salamu alayka ayyuhan nabi. Your namaz is invalid without this. It's wajib. If you miss it, and without, you have to do sajda sahab. If you don't do sajda sahab, you have to repeat your prayer. Allah says it's wajib to send salam on Rasulullah in your prayer. Not outside your prayer, in your prayer. So, his name is mentioned frequently. Even in Salatul Janazah. You know, someone said to me, to read salam on the Prophet, so standing like this is wrong, and then put his hands together, it's wrong. I said, really? He said, yeah, it's wrong. I said, why is it wrong? He goes, you can only stand like that in your salam. I said, really? He said, yeah. I said, so how should you stand? He said, you must put your hands by your side. And that's okay. He goes, yeah, that's okay. But not like this, it's wrong. It's only in Salah. I said, brother, can I say one thing? When you say, Sami Allahu liman hamida, where are your hands? It's by my side. So that's wrong, isn't it? It's also part of prayer, isn't it? He goes, yeah, it's wrong. I said, so where do you put your hands now? Quickly, think. You know what? He started to sweat. He was thinking. And then he goes, your hand should be behind your back. You know, I've seen ignorance, but now I've heard ignorance speak. Behind your back. What an insulting way to stand in front of anyone with your hands behind your back. Put your hands on your head. It's nonsense. So let's be sensible, you know, and let's put our hands with Tazeen in the most respectful way. And that is, you know, clasp them, right hand over left. So we have, mashallah, is now we have gone through the connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and mentioning His name even in prayer. What about His characteristics? What about His appearance? Subhanallah. Let's start with His eyes. You know, you can judge a person by their eyes. And I'm not saying you go on the street now and say, come here and have a look at someone's eyes. But you can judge a person by their eyes. And His eyes, beautiful, calm, serene, affectionate, sensitive, guiding, and although they were black, they had nur coming out of them. Very beautiful eyelashes, very attractive eyes, well-balanced face, beautiful nose and mouth, lovely complexion, and people said he was more radiant than a full moon, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When we were far from him, he was beautiful. When we were close to him, he was extremely handsome. This is a Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And not just that, his perspiration. People said when we shook his hand, and we smelt our hand, it's as if our hand had been in perfume. And no matter how many times we washed it, it lasted all day, the perfume. And they said when we knew the Prophet had passed this place, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Why? Because we smelled the perfume in the air. And he was there for many, many hours. There was the mother of Hazrat Anas radiallahu ta'ala anha. She collected his perspiration, his sweat, his perspiration in a bottle. And she used to use it for perfume. Because she said, it smells better than any perfume I've got. Any perfume I've smelled. It smells the best. Now there is a contingent that says, oh, he's just a man like us. Right? Well, let's understand perspiration. Now, if someone said to me, he's a man like me, someone said that to me, I'd say, well look, all I can say is this. Try selling your perspiration on eBay. I think you'll be disappointed. In fact, I said, if we put you outside in the heat, with no deodorant, right, with no perfumes, with no idler, I think after a few hours, we'd have to call a helicopter to take you away. How can you say he's a man like that? His perspiration smelled better than any perfume you could buy. Even now it's true. That was his natural perspiration. You know, can someone collect it in a bottle and use it for their perfume?